City Council. Good evening and welcome. I would like to note that Ryan Caith is here tonight with KERM, KGOS Radio. This is broadcast live on radio and is also on YouTube. We also have Jess Oakes here from the Torrington Telegram. This is Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024. This is the first council meeting of the year, first council meeting in January. Our first item of order is the pledge, and I've asked Councilman Wayne Deal to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda are the mayor's informational items. So Happy New Year to all of you. As we move into 2024, my hope is that we can all count our many blessings. Things will never be perfect, but things can be good. We are blessed in this city, county, and country with a measure of liberty that is the envy of most of the world. We have a quality of life here in Torrington that is also the envy of most of the world. We have clean water, an efficient sewer system, efficient trash removal, lights and power, efficient snow removal, and safety provided by our local police and local fire departments. We have a local health care system and an ambulance service that is second to none. We have housing for our seniors that fits all levels of their needs. We also have a thriving senior citizen center. We have a first-rate golf course, a municipal pool that meets the needs of young and old alike. We have numerous parks and ball fields and a first-class movie theater. We have a very attractive and vibrant downtown area and are blessed with a local college and a growing airport. Torrington is doing well, but it can always do better. We need to keep and maintain what we have and seek ways to improve ourselves in all aspects of our community life together. Let us all count our many blessings and all work toward an even better and brighter future. As always, please slow down, please drive carefully, and please refrain from using your cell phones while driving. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the 12/19/23 council meeting as published.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion from Councilman Victron to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda as set forth signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. The consent agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda itself.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion from Councilman Deal to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval of the agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is what we call the public forum. There is a black box in front of Councilman Victron. That is where, if one wants to use this time to speak to the council, they may fill out a form and put it in there. I don't see any forms in there, but I do want to explain what this is. This part of the agenda is for non-agenda items. There is a time limit of 2 minutes, and the speaker must sign up before the meeting. This is a time for the council to listen. No action will be taken. Now we will move into the action items. The first item on the agenda, which is item 1 through A, B, C, D, and E, which deals with mayor's appointments.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the mayor's appointments as listed items A through E in action item number 1.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Victorin to approve the mayor's appointments as set forth in items 1A, B, C, D, and E. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further discussion, or any discussion at all, gentlemen? And you're free to discuss any one of A through D, A through E.
Mr. Mayor, the only one I don't know of is Hannah Barnes for Associate Judge.
Yes, Anna Barnes is a local attorney. She has been in Torrington for several years now. She is currently an associate judge, I believe. I think we have Judge Patrick and Ken Brown as an associate judge, and Anna Barnes as an associate municipal judge. They would, if John Patrick, the regular judge, was unavailable or had a conflict or so on, then Mr. Brown would be contacted to serve as judge, or Ms. Barnes would be contacted to serve as judge. And I'll let you both know that both are agreeable to being considered to be associate municipal judges.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question along those lines. Are the associate municipal judges also at various times assigned as court-appointed attorneys?
I believe they are, yes. There are a limited number of attorneys, and Mr. Eddington can speak to that, in this community in general, and a limited number that will take court appointments from the city court. But Mr. Eddington, yeah.
It's rare, but they've both been appointed. I would say less than a handful of times a year, but it does happen because we're pretty limited on those out there that do it. But yes, both Anna and Ken have done it in the last year, but I would say less than 5 times apiece.
And I would mention, for the curious amongst us, an item number C, that's appointing myself as a member of the Consolidated Wyoming Municipality Electric Joint Powers Board. And I know Mr. Eddington is chairman of that board currently, and Ms. Strecker serves on it, as do I. And my understanding is this board was formed in 1984 pursuant to Wyoming statute. The city of Torrington and the city of Gillette joined together to form the board in 1984 and amended the joint powers agreement in 2007 to include the town of Basin. So now there are 3 municipalities, Basin, Gillette, and Torrington, involved in this. All 3 entities have utilized the board for the purpose of facilitating financing for construction of electrical generation, transmission, or distribution facilities. And I know Mr. Eddington has probably been familiar with this since it was created in 1984.
I have been.
Okay. And so there are 3 of us that serve on that board, Mrs. Strecker, Mr. Eddington, and myself. So that's what that Consolidated Wyoming Municipality Electric Joint Powers Board is. And I did want to mention too, item D, Performance Management Committee. And those are for 2-year terms. Councilman Rick Patterson has agreed to continue on that committee. That committee gets very busy in the fall, and I think they meet weekly, I believe. So they are a very busy committee in the fall when personnel performance evaluations are being done. And Darren Yates also agreed to serve again on that committee. On item E, the Safety Committee, that's a 2-year term. There are several members of that, and that's an important committee. John Hood is our, can't remember his exact title, but he's the safety coordinator. I believe that's close, okay, is what he is. So he's on that committee. And those other folks will also be placed on that committee, and they come from all departments.
There are no substantial changes to the
No.
appointments.
A lot of the committees that the city has are in good shape. The terms are longer than out there. Won't expire till after this year, but the ones that would expire, we need to replace them, or that did expire in December. So that's generally who's being reappointed or appointed to these various committees and joint powers boards and the officials. Also, I'll mention, as you gentlemen know, Mayor Pro Tem Rick Patterson. He was appointed last January as Mayor Pro Tem, and I based that on a seniority basis. He has the most years currently in service, so he will be reappointed if the council approves to the position of Mayor Pro Tem. And by the way, he's absent tonight, but we have a quorum. I think he is on his way back from time away.
Mr. Mayor, I would call the previous question.
I have Councilman Victorin calling for the question on his motion regarding the mayor's appointment set forth in item 1A, B, C, D, and E. I will call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the mayor's appointments as set forth in the agenda this evening signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the mayor's appointments as set forth in item 1 of the agenda are approved. Item number 2 on the agenda, which is on the second page, is council's consideration to approve or designate Herb Doby, myself, as part-time mayor. Just a little bit of background on that. I was appointed as part-time mayor. Took office on January 3rd of this year, along with Councilman Deal and Councilman Victorin last year. Sorry, it's 2024. Take me 6 months to get used to that. But yes, for 2023, I was appointed as part-time mayor. Under the ordinance in the city of Torrington, one can be approved by council as a full-time mayor, or one can be approved by council as a part-time mayor. Obviously, 2023 was my first year in service as mayor. I think that we did well with me being part-time. I think it was a little getting used to by the staff maybe, but I think we've done well. I'm here in and out a lot, and I'm available by email and all that. I don't spend 40 hours a week in my office like perhaps prior mayors did for the most part, but so far I think it's working well with my appointment as a part-time mayor. I will just let you know by way of listening to my wife, who gives me good advice. I basically kept track of my hours, not exact, but pretty close. I do that for a living. I bill hourly, as Mr. Eddington knows how we do it. And so I'm used to keeping track of my time. And it's not precise like I do when I bill in my private law practice, but I calculated this over the weekend that I had put in 1,006 hours. And if I compared that to a 40-hour a week times 52 weeks a year, that's a little over 2,000, or right at 2,000. So the hours I put in are about half time compared to a 40-hour work week. So if anyone has any questions for me on that, I'd sure answer them, but I would consider a motion to approve me as part-time mayor.
I would make the motion to approve Herb Doby as part-time mayor.
I have a motion from Councilman Deal to approve Herb Doby as part-time mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Victorin. Do you gentlemen have any further discussion or questions for me? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving Herb Doby as part-time mayor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, Herb Doby is approved as part-time mayor. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 2024-1, approving the institutions as depositories and/or security broker dealers for the city of Torrington. And it's short. I would ask Mr. Eddington to read that resolution.
Excuse me. A resolution by the City Council of the City of Torrington, Wyoming, approving the institutions mentioned below as approved depositories and/or security broker dealers for the City of Torrington. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Torrington, Wyoming, that the following institutions, all having offices within the corporate limits of the City of Torrington or affiliated with the State of Wyoming Treasurer's Office, are hereby approved and authorized to be bank depositories and/or investment broker advisors for the City of Torrington during the calendar year 2024. Points West Community Bank, Pinnacle Bank, U.S. Bank, Edward Jones Company, Wyoming Government Investment Fund, Wells Fargo Bank, First State Bank, Platte Valley Bank, WyoStar 1 and 2 Investment Fund, Morton Asset Management, and Principal Custody Solutions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Eddington. And Mrs. Stricker, I would call on you. Do you have any information or anything you want to advise council regarding this resolution?
These are the same as last year, so no changes. And I have right now either deposits or investments with all of them except for U.S. Bank and WyoStar 1 and 2. I have them on there just in case we do want to invest or have deposits in those facilities, institutions.
And I believe we did this in 2023 at the first meeting,
Yep, it's required the first meeting of every calendar year.
and we didn't have to amend it during the course of 2023 that I'm aware of or recall.
Nope.
Okay.
Be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Even though U.S. Bank doesn't exist in Torrington anymore, it's still affiliated with the State of Wyoming Treasurer's Office, so that makes it,
Yes.
in case they may reopen.
Yeah, and they do have like investment services and stuff like that as well that we, may need in the future, so.
And that would also be the case with Morton Asset Management. Aren't they out of Utah, I think?
Yes, they are out of Utah.
But there again, they're affiliated with the Wyoming State Treasurer's Office.
Yes.
And Wells Fargo.
And Wells Fargo. Same situation, right?
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve resolution number 2024-1.
I have a motion from Councilman Victorin to approve resolution number 2024-1 as set forth in item 3 on the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Is there any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval of resolution number 2024-1 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, resolution number 2024-1 is approved. Next item on the agenda is item number 4, approval of the bills from 12/20/23 to 1/2/24. And I'd call on Mrs. Strecker.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Attached to your agenda and handed out separately tonight were a list of bills for you to consider. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have on those bills.
I do have a question, and it appears on both sets. It's for the Railroad Management Company, and I just noticed that it's a quarterly lease on both sets for the same amount.
There are two different invoices. This lease is invoice is forwarded to us from DSI, and for some reason, we didn't get the previous quarters, so it's paying for 2 quarters.
Okay.
DSI is it for the same building that,
It's for the land lease for the recycling center.
why would DSI have that?
It's still in their name. I believe it was assigned by contract to us, but they're still getting the billing.
If there are no more questions about the bills, I would motion to approve them as presented.
Excuse me, I have a motion from Councilman Kelly to approve the bills as presented in item number 4. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further questions or discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval of the bills as set forth in item number 4 of tonight's agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, those bills as set forth in item 4 are approved.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public comment, and knows I'll pick on him. Fire Chief Lance Petch is back there. He gave me a good report at the staff meeting this morning, but I'd like to hear his report again, and you gentlemen can hear it for the first time. So, thank you, Chief.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Happy New Year. Pretty quiet times right now. Not much happened over the holiday season, which is always nice for us. This weekend, Riverton Fire School is going on. We'll be sending some people up there to that. Not as many as usual. I think we only have 2 or 3 going up there this year, but some of that, there's a little confusion, I think, with the registration and whatnot. They didn't get their classes, the lists out maybe as early as they have in the past, so. And then some of the classes are more of the basics, so once you kind of get through the entry-level stuff, it's getting a little harder to find some more advanced training in state right now, so. But that's kind of what's happening in the fire world. Anybody has any questions?
Nice to be quiet, right?
Yes.
I have a perpetual question, I believe. I know we had a lot of moisture and the grass grew high. Is that still present a,
I think stuff could still burn. I mean, I think it's, especially if we get a couple days where it warms up like today and whatnot, and some wind like we probably will eventually. You know, I think the fuel's still there, so there's still a possibility that stuff could burn.
okay.
Just the number of tumbleweeds.
That's true. There are lots of those out there. So,
And just another good time to remind everybody, if you're going to have a controlled burn, the best policy on your end is to call dispatch and let them know, so that your neighbors or passersby aren't reporting it as a uncontrolled fire.
yeah, please.
It might be embarrassing to have the fire department out there, right?
Sometimes they don't like it when you show up in force, but I mean, we gotta do what we can do to make sure that we keep stuff small, and you know, it's what we try to do is jump on stuff quickly as we can to keep it that way. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Fire Chief. All right, are there any other takers out there for public comment? I don't see any out there, but I'll ask councilmen if they have any comments to make. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. And just thank you all for doing your part to keep this a good place to live in, so thank you. All right, we have completed the agenda as set forth this evening, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.